What's up YouTube, Rainbow Dark Terra Firma here, and before we get into this video, I'm going to quickly state what the purpose of this video is. So the purpose of this video is not to bash on any of these games, it's also meant to be. So when I say free to play, I meant the games are free to play, they have pay to play options, but I'm examining them from the package you get from just being free to play. So no money input into the game, so that is going to reflect some of the games on this list because certain games give you more even though you're free to play. So anyway, let's jump into this video. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitch at Rainbow Dark Terra Firma. The link will be on the screen and in the description below. Let's get into this video. Planetside II is an open world FPS game. So basically, it's similar to a Call of Duty or a Battlefield. It's more of an open world game though. So the games that you play can range from 20 minutes to almost 2 hours, depending on how big the map is, how good the players are, and how rounded the teams are. Because the worlds are huge, it can sometimes take forever to find anyone. But for an FPS game, especially a free one, it's not too bad at all. It's actually quite a decent game. It's quite repetitive as well, because on the free-to-play package, you don't get a lot of customization options. So it's very limited upon that with free-to-play. But generally, for just an FPS game, if you just want to go into a game and just shoot people, then that is definitely a game you want to play, because it's definitely a fun, well-rounded FPS. Dragon's Nest is a co-op RPG that is available exclusively to Steam. So, Dragon's Nest is a game where you can co-op to up to 4 people in a group, and you basically go through dungeons and do quests in order to further the story. Now, there is a prevalent story which is really cool. The game is free to play, and most of its features you can access as free to play. Some of the stuff you have to buy, because obviously it's a free to play, it needs money to maintain. But generally, the majority of the game you can access free to play, and it's a very, very, very fun RPG. It can get a bit repetitive and redundant every so often because, again, it's another one of those really grindy RPGs. But once you overlook that, look at the story, the gameplay, and the graphics look really nice. I'd say it's a really decent RPG that's well worth the time if you want to put time into a decent RPG. It's available on PC. I don't know if it's ever going to be available to consoles. As it stands right now, it's not. But you never know, in the future, maybe. Okay, so we all knew this was going to be on the list somewhere. Of course it is. The biggest free-to-play game right now. Fortnite Battle Royale. So this game is available on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, iOS, and Android. So, Fortnite Battle Royale is basically a battle arena game. Now, the reason it's not any higher on the list is for 2 reasons, really. One, because the content you get for free-to-play, it's not really that good. You get access to the battle arena, but that's all you have access to. Everything else in the game is stuck behind a paywall. The PvE stuff is stuck behind a massive paywall. Even a lot of the free-to-play stuff, and I'm hyphening there, you can't see obviously, because in order to get a lot of the unlockables, you have to buy the battle pass. Now, I live in the UK. It's £35 to access the PvE stuff. You then have to pay more money to access the battle pass every month. And for a free-to-play game to have that much stuck behind a paywall doesn't really appeal to me. The paywall is ridiculous as it is, and they just keep adding to it. So as it stands right now, Fortnite can't go any higher on the list because everything you really want in the game is stuck behind a massive paywall. I'm not saying the game is bad because it is not bad, it's just really repetitive, considering if free-to-play got access to the PvE stuff, that'd be different, but they don't. So the game is really repetitive on the front of the battle arena. Again, people could probably gather that this would be on the list somewhere too. Pokemon Go, which is available on iOS and Android. Now, Pokemon Go is a very, very, very fun Pokemon game where you basically walk around outside, you visit Pokestops to collect items, you find Pokemon as you're walking around, and you basically throw Pokeballs, catch them, and keep trading. You can battle with them and do raids and everything. It's a really cool game. The only reason, like Fortnite, it's not higher on the list is because a lot of the content is stuck behind a paywall. Now, again, I am examining these games based on their free-to-play aspects, not their pay-to-play. Therefore, it can't go any higher on the list. In order to get more items, it forces you to walk around a lot to other Pokestops to then keep getting items. If you have access to a load of Pokestops, it's not a problem. But where I live, I have access to only 2. Now, they're pretty far apart as well, so I'd have to walk quite a long way in order to access just 2 Pokestops, therefore I can't play the game properly. I have played it in the past, but generally as it stands right now I cannot play it because of the paywall. I don't want to have to keep buying Pokeballs every time I run out. It gets a bit ridiculous. RuneScape. So RuneScape is a game that is available on PC, and it's currently also in open beta on the Android software on mobile. Currently it's only open beta to members of RuneScape, so I'm not going to count Android for now. So RuneScape is one of those games where I can always go back to it. I can always relate to it. It's an open world MMORPG where you basically go around, do quests, mine, fish, cook, you name it, you can do it. It's a really chilled out game where if you just want to blow off some steam, you can go onto it, do what you want to do. You can follow quests, you can go and kill people in the wild, you can fight other players, you can fight ginormous monsters. It's a really, really cool game. It does have free to play and pay to play. Now you can get max level in every skill on free to play. It's a lot more grindy that way. Pay to play members definitely get a lot more. But you have access to a lot of areas in free-to-play, so you're able to do a lot of stuff in the free-to-play as it is. There's about at least 50 quests for free-to-play that you can do. So it's really fun. If you just want a game where you can chill, you can just play it. You don't have to worry about paying it because you don't really need to. And actually, you can buy what are called RuneScape bonds as well with in-game currency. So with in-game currency, RuneScape bonds allow you to get membership with in-game currency, which is great. So if you want to do that, you're free to do that. Anyway, guys, that is RuneScape. Brawlhalla. So Brawlhalla is a 2D fighting beat-em-up that's available on PC, PS4, and I believe Xbox One as well. If it is, it'll say so down below. I'm not too sure as I'm recording this. Now, Brawlhalla is kind of, well, it's not kind of, it's a lot like Super Smash Bros. In the sense that 2 to 4 players fight on a 2D plane that doesn't move, and you basically keep killing each other until the time runs out, and then you add up how many deaths, and the person with the least amount of deaths wins. Now, it's free to play, and you have access to quite a bit of content that's free to play. Of course, there is a paywall again, but the paywall doesn't take away from the game, because you're able to fight online, you're able to choose different characters, you're able to level up the characters, unlock skills, unlock weapons, that sort of stuff. It's really fun, really frantic. If you need a tide over for Smash Bros, because of course, the new Smash Bros comes out later in the year, or if you just want a 2D fighting beat-em-up that's quite free, you don't need to pay for Smash Bros, then I'd recommend Brawlhalla. It's a really cool game, it's really fun, really frantic, and chaotic. Trove is an open world kind of MMORPG, and when I say kind of, it's kind of MMO because, so you have a hub world where many players can interact. You also have the open worlds where many players can interact, but you can only have 4 players per party. Now, parties of players can go into dungeons, do quests, do skills like runecrafting, create mounts. Now, there is pay-to-play options. You can pay money into the game to unlock stuff early, but the majority, I'd say 90% of the content in Trove, you can actually create in-game. So you don't have to pay for anything. You can go into the game, get all the materials required to then farm mounts, you can farm characters, you can farm levels, you can farm everything you want to farm in the game. It's really fun. If you play free-to-play, it is really grindy because you have to, of course, farm all the materials required to create everything. But for a free-to-play game, it's definitely not bad. I recommend giving it a go. It's currently on Steam, Xbox One, and PS4. I would highly recommend it if you're a fan of RPGs. If you're a fan of cutesy, quirky little RPGs, I'd recommend it. If you're a fan of grindy games, I would definitely recommend it. Okay, so Paladins is a first-person shooter or third-person shooter, depending on the way you look at it. It's currently available on PS4, Xbox One, Steam, and Nintendo Switch. So Paladins is one of those games, it is stuck behind a paywall, however, the paywall doesn't really interrupt the fun of the game. So basically, you get a load of different characters. Now, it's free to play, you can only choose certain characters once a month, and then like every month they recycle into different characters, so you can at least play as every character at some point. The reason it's higher on the list of Fortnite is because the maps and everything aren't stuck behind a paywall. You can do every map, it doesn't matter, every game mode that's available pretty much. From launch, you can do it all. It's a really fun, frantic FPS game where there's different classes. You've got flank, tank, healer, attacks. You've got all kinds of different quirky characters, all kinds of different abilities. It's a really fun, frantic FPS game. So if you're a big fan of FPS and you want to play one free, I'd recommend Paladins highly. It's a very, very fun game. I've got it on the Nintendo Switch and I still play it. It's really, really fun. And finally, Warframe. So Warframe is a co-op third-person, first-person RPG on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Steam. So Warframe is a very, very, very fun game. Free to play, you can pretty much unlock everything in the game. Everything you can do by paying money, you can do by free to play. So I like to call it pay to advance. So pay to advance is basically where you pay money to get stuff faster, but you can do everything you can in the game. You can go into all the missions, you can do all the story related stuff, and the cool thing about Warframe is it gets free updates every so often. So it updates the gameplay, it updates the online, it updates quest lines, it updates everything. It's a really, really, really fun game. You can choose multiple different kinds of weapons. There's all kinds of enemies. You can co-op, you can do it solo if you choose to. I recommend co-op because co-op is so super fun on Warframe. It can be quite grindy when you want to level up certain weapons, but generally it's a very, 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 very fun game that has a lot of quest lines and a whole bunch to do on free to play. I highly recommend it. It's again currently available on PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. I recommend playing it on PS4 or Xbox One just because I prefer the controllers, keyboard, and mouse. But if you only have a PC, play it on PC. It's still very fun. I would recommend this game, and that is why it's number 1 on this list. Anyway, thanks you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitch at Rainbow Dark Terra Firma. Link is on the screen and in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.